Run.
If you're wondering why I didn't ask Robbie Keane any questions, that's because he's not here anymore. But don't think he's not scarpered. He's actually doing the draw for the fourth round, which we'll have for you in just a few minutes' time, about 5 minutes' time if you're hanging on for it. Well, it was a livelier second half, made so really with a terrific goal from Origi, who you were quite critical of in the first half.
Yeah, the manager had to say and do something at half time to get something, to get them going, to get them moving. And this is exactly what he would have wanted so early in the second half. James Milner pushing forward, touch, and little back lift there and left foot, and it goes through the legs, and the keeper's got no chance.
It's actually Liverpool's first shot on target in the game.
I think Liverpool only had 9 touches in the 18-yard box of Wolves, which sort of sums up their performance really. But they did get back into the game, but to be fair to Wolves, that didn't faze them. They came straight back at them. The
only shot on target in the whole game. Now, not to be outdone, Wolves went straight down at the other end and scored a long-range effort themselves. Paul?
Yeah, they did, and you know it can only come from one person, and that's Ruben Neves.
Yeah.
You know, you see him time and time again. You know, if you let this fellow shoot, you know, 9 times out of 10 he hits the target, and you know, he scored so many goals from this area. He doesn't do tap-ins, Ruben Neves, so you've got to get to him here. I mean, me and Al were looking at this and saying, can the keeper do better? You know, I think he's a long way out, 31 yards out to be exact. The keeper takes a kind of movements to his left, so he puts his weight on his left-hand side, so then he can't get back to his right-hand side, and it's not in the corner of the goal. You know, admittedly it's a fantastic try, don't get me wrong, but I think Milner may be disappointed with it.
You're right about Neves. 8 goals he scored from outside the box for Wolves out of his 9 goals. The other one's from the penalty spot. But there was another heroic effort at the other end of the field, wasn't there, really,
John Ruddy.
Wolves? Ruddy, sensational. Doesn't perhaps look it there, but we've got one replay in particular where you can see definitely get the touch.
Strike. We thought that was in straight here, but the slightest of touches from
Watch this one
from John
Ruddy.
Ruddy.
Right, slow, and then you'll just see
it there that he does get a touch onto the post there. Absolutely magnificent.
Unbelievable save. Great free kick. You think it's in, and he's just put his team through to the next round.
There, wasn't it?
You know, so as much as I mean the players get a lot of credit for that save, he should, you know, he's kept through to the next round. Definitely well
Very
done.
good.
Yeah, well done.
But overall, what do you about Liverpool? Do you think perhaps them being out of the FA Cup in a strange way improves their chances perhaps of winning one of the other 2 trophies they're going for?
No, you have to. No, I don't.
Less games?
Well, it doesn't. They've got a very big squad, and when you rotate as he did, you're gambling, and you're looking to your players to say, "Come on, give me something here, give me a performance." The first team have done incredibly well all season, Champions League and for the Premier League, and he's looking to the guys who have not been in the first team to give him a performance, and they failed miserably tonight.
Okay, don't go anywhere. We're just about ready for the 4th round draw. It's time to hand over to Mark Chapman. Chappers!
Firmino and Salah come on, that we really had a cutting edge. And, you know, maybe with a little bit of luck, Doherty got back and maybe hooked one off the line. Maybe with a better ball through from Keita for Salah at the end, we might have nicked it. But overall, probably Wolves were...
Opportunity to have a go. You know, they've been given the opportunity.
Well, they're coming so deep at times, coming into their own half to receive the ball when it was all ploddy and nobody wanted to run in behind. And those are senior players. And really, if you're trying to impress the manager, you've got to put a bit more of a shift in and show the young players that you know that's what you've got to do. But overall, I think you have to say Fabinho playing at centre back for the first time in his professional career did exceptionally well in difficult circumstances as well. So overall, I don't think we deserve to go through. Maybe to the outside we could have got a draw. Overall, you've got to look at Wolves and say probably they deserve to go through, and they're great tonight either.
We can't discount the impact on the game. That early injury today throws everything out the window. The manager perhaps gambles slightly by going with an inexperienced bench. He hasn't got many options at centre-half as it is, but he loses one of his senior hopes on today so early. A 16-year-old comes on. And as the game wore on, it caught out a few times first, but as the game wore on, second half, looked more composed in his surroundings, and we saw
Sturridge, Origi, they need games. Keita needed a game in the middle of the park as well, so there's no excuses. They're still a strong Liverpool team, and that's what Champions League squads are about, having players that are good enough to come in and play at this level. And I think some of them need to have a look at themselves tonight and say, did I do myself justice, and did I did the red shirt justice tonight in an FA Cup tie away from home?
Yeah.
And I think that's the big question mark. It's not about Jurgen's team selection. I think overall you've got to say he probably looked at his squad, and if Lovren had stayed on, maybe it had been different, who knows. But to play senior players and then a youngster, that's fine. But some of the senior players for me tonight look really off the pace. I don't know if that's fitness, the way they're looking after themselves, or their attitude wasn't good tonight.
I mean, they're international footballers.
Yeah.
You know, they're the top footballers. They're internationals. You know, you've got to be able to raise your game. I mean, you can look at it a different way and just say, well, they're well rested, aren't they? You know, you can also say, like, they're not up to the speed of the game, but they're also well rested. You know, you look at the first team that plays, he predominantly picks probably 12 or 14 he goes with, doesn't he? Maybe 15 or 16 at a push he's using. Predominantly the 11 picks itself. So the ones who aren't playing are well rested.
Yeah, and so far different situation to the team that the manager picked previously in FA Cup. Sometimes he had picked an academy side with one or two senior players. This time it was mainly senior players, experienced internationals with a couple of talented kids. Okay, let's give the guys a rest for a couple of minutes. Head over to John Bradley's. Keep an eye on the text, tweets, emails, etc., etc. John, what's the verdict out in the social media world?
I've also got the misfortune of looking at the FA Cup fourth round draw as well as it goes on. I'll run through that for you in a minute. But first, we've got to give praise to those young players who have shown real guts for Liverpool tonight. It's also worth saying as well that Keanu Hoover was 296 days old when James Milner made his professional football debut. So just seems how it goes, doesn't it? James Milner was 16 years old when he made his debut for Leeds, and Hoover tonight, impressive at 16 years and 354 days on his debut. Liverpool's third youngest ever player. Thoughts on him, and thoughts on Curtis Jones, thoughts on Rafa Camacho as well, thoughts on the game as well, and where Liverpool move forward from here. And of course the players that we saw tonight, the players that were rested, and of course those injuries. That Liverpool side would have been stronger had of course the likes of Matip and Gomez been fit. Anyway, send us your thoughts by text to 60070, text LFC, followed by your message, then your name. Lots of tweets coming in as always at LFC or at LFC TV, and we do like your emails as well, lfctv at liverpoolfc.com. Here's just a little early reaction from the supporters on social media. Simon Bray, much better second half. Origi, Shaq, much improved. Fabinho, our best player yet again. Warren, FA Cup out of the way, let's move back onto the Premier League and Champions League. Keeps it quite simple, doesn't he? And Belinda, unfortunately we deserve to lose that, but Over showed he's one to watch for the future. A player of course who only arrived at the club in September, didn't he? But really impressive so far at youth level, and stepping up tonight and unfazed by a really strong Wolves side. The FA Cup fourth round draw is taking place as we speak. Wolves, by the way, have been handed an away tie at Shrewsbury or Stoke. Do you want to know a few of the others, guys, so while we go through them? Arsenal Manchester United is the big tie. Everton have got Millwall away. Chelsea, non-league team in the FA Cup, and I want Jason and Nigel to give their reactions as if they were the Barnet players or the Barnet management team to this draw. And when you look at them and you say, you come out of the hat first and you say, like, number 30, Barnet will play number 7, Brentford. Talk about how flat you feel after that. You're the one team left in it and you've got Brentford. At least they're at home.
Yeah, that's a good thing, yeah.
Glamour not, but they are in the hat. More reaction from the boys in the studio to come. Time for a short break. We're back in a couple of minutes' time.
The corresponding stage last season, Liverpool 14 points better off, 3 places better off. And you heard in that interview, the goals conceded only 7. That's a joint Premier League record at this stage of the season. As Jurgen Klopp said himself, it really is turning into a special campaign. His enthusiasm, Kyle, is infectious, is it not?
Well, it was when he first got there. I mean, his personality has that enthusiasm built into it, and he's this force that it brings you close to him, you believe in him, and you have to have that and then back it up with the tactical awareness of not only how to set your team up, but how to get the best out of them. And I think that's what he's been able to demonstrate to support that character. And once he has you there listening, he's got great things to say. And it was the same thing at Borussia Dortmund. He built a project that took time, and it was either finding players like Lewandowski that weren't household names before then, or grabbing the Mario Götzes from the youth teams and not being star players, and understanding that if you show faith in this team, build it. Then when you're close to the finished product and you have the backing from the club and the hierarchy to spend big on a player like Virgil van Dijk, you're close and you tick forward. I mean, they were 25 points behind Manchester City last year. To close that gap without City dropping off much, it just goes to show the last couple of purchases have been huge, but also this is a project that you can't just say this season's special like he did. It's special because of all the work that was put in and all the growing pains we saw. And they did it today with a team tactically that was different, with players injured, Trent Alexander-Arnold and others. And it's a really impressive thing, and he's starting to believe himself. You can see that they can do it.
Winning in a different way, Robbie. That was what I took from that interview. That's what Jurgen Klopp felt about the game.
You know what, just trying to summarise the team right now, I think they're showing an amazing amount of durability as a team, winning in different ways, as you just brought up there. I think they're managing games a lot better now than they did last season. They are incredibly improved defensively.